Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Everybody is welcome to this morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class. And today's reading is taken from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 3, text number 24. Yeah. Sanarikshyam Baridivam Ham Sabaham Upatistam Nanama Sharisha Bhupo Tadashana Mahosava Sanrikshyam Barim Divam Ham Sabaham Upastitam Nanama Sharisha Bhupo Tadashana Mahosava. Anybody wants to repeat?
Saniriksham Devam Hamsa Vaham Upastitam Narama Shirasa Uma Tadarshana Mahotsavaha.
Anyone else? Okay, word-to-word translation. Saha, he, Hiranyakashipu. Nirikshya, seeing. Hambare, in the sky. Divam, the supreme demigod. Hamsavaham, who rides a swan airplane. Upastitam, situated before him. Nanama, offered obeisances. Chirasa, with his head. Bumo, on the ground. Tat Dakshana, seeing Lord Brahma. Maha Utsava, very much pleased. Translation and purport by Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Seeing Lord Brahma present before him in the sky, carried by his swan airplane, Hiranyakashipu was extremely pleased. He immediately fell flat on his head on the ground and began to express his obligation to the Lord. Purport. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, text 23 and 24, Yepi anya divata bhakta yajante shraddha yanvitaha tepi mam eva kunteya yajanti avidi uvakam ham hi sava yakyanam bhakta cha prabhu ivacha natu mam abhijanante tatve natas chavanti te. Whatever a man may sacrifice to other gods, O son of Kunti, is really meant for me alone, but it is offered without true understanding. I am the only enjoyer and the only object of sacrifice. Those who do not recognize my true transcendental nature fall down. In effect, Krishna says, persons engaged in the worship of demigods are not very intelligent, although such worship is indirectly offered to me. For example, when a man pours water on the leaves and branches of a tree without pouring water on the root, he does so without sufficient knowledge or without observing regulative principles. The process of watering a tree is to pour water on the root. Similarly, the process of rendering service to different parts of the body is to supply food to the stomach. The demigods are so different officers and directors in the government of the Supreme Lord. One has to follow the laws made by the government, not by the officers or directors. Similarly, everyone is to offer his worship to the Supreme Lord only. That will automatically satisfy the different officers and directors of the Lord. The officers and directors are engaged as representatives of the government, and to offer some bribe to the officers and directors is illegal. This is stated in Bhagavad Gita as Avidi Puvakam. In other words, Krishna does not approve the unnecessary worship of the demigods. In Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly stated that there are many types of yajna performances recommended in Vedic literatures, but actually all of them are meant for satisfying the Supreme Lord. Yajna means Vishnu. In the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly stated that one should work only for satisfying Yagya or Vishnu. The perfectional form of human civilization, known as Vanashram Dham, is specifically meant for satisfying Vishnu. Therefore, Krishna says, I am the enjoyer of all sacrifices because I am the supreme master. However, less intelligent persons, without knowing this fact, worship demigods for temporary benefit. Therefore, they fall down to material existence and do not achieve the desired goal of life. If, however, anyone has any material desire to be fulfilled, he had better pray for it to the Supreme Lord, although that is not pure devotion, and he will thus achieve the desired result. Although Hiranyakashipu offered his obeisances unto Lord Brahma, he was strongly inimical towards Lord Vishnu. This is the symptom of an asura. Asuras worship the demigods as being separate from the Lord, not knowing that all the demigods are powerful because of being servants of the Lord. If the Supreme Lord were to withdraw the powers of the demigods will no longer be able to offer benedictions to their worshippers. The difference between a devotee and a non-devotee or asura is that a devotee knows that Lord Vishnu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and that everyone derives power from him. Without worshipping the demigods for particular powers, a devotee worships Lord Vishnu, knowing that if he desires a particular power, he can get that power while acting as Lord Vishnu's devotee. Therefore, in the Shastra, Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 3, Text 10, it is recommended, Akama Savaka Muva, Moksha Kama Udarati, Tivrena Bhakti Yogina, Yajita Purusham Param. A person who has broader intelligence, whether he be full of material desires, free from material desires, or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the supreme whole, the personality of Godhead. Even if a person has material desires, instead of worshiping the demigods, he should pray to the Supreme Lord so that his connection with the Supreme Lord will be established and he will be saved from becoming a demon or a non-devotee. In this regard, Srila Madhvacharya gives the following quotation from the Brahma Takra. Ekastanaika kayatwad Vishnu Pradhanyatas tata Vivashatat Adinatwam Na Binadika Kritam Vachaha. Since Vishnu is the supreme, by worshipping Vishnu, one can fulfill all one's desires. There is no need to divert one's attention to any demigod. Om Gyana Timirandashya Gyana Jana Salakaya Chakshu Omnitam Yena Tasma Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Sabitam Mina Bhutali Swayam Fakadamaya Dadati Swapadanti Kam. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagapati Gopisha Gopika Kantarada Kantana Mostate. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutali Shri Makti Bhakti Teta Swami Iti Namani. Namaste Krishna Padaya Prabhupada Shitatmani. Shri Gora Karuna Shakti Bhakti Tetinani. Maam Vishnu Pada Krishna Pristaya Bhutale. Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinani. Namaste Saraswati Devi Goravani Pracharini. Nirvashisha Srinyavadi Pashatyadi Satari. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasari Gauravata Vrinda. Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So thank you very much everyone for being here today. So as we continue, we told in the previous test, it is said that Lord Brahma appeared to Hiranyakashipu and sprinkled water over Hiranyakashipu, and Hiranyakashipu immediately became youthful with a body strength that can survive even the strike of thunderbolts. And today, Stes is telling us how Hiranyakashipu was so happy for seeing Lord Brahma, and he immediately offered his obeisances. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada has explained a lot of things to us. How it is very important that once we worship the Supreme Lord, then automatically the demigods will be pleased, will be satisfied. And Srila Prabhupada compares that to someone trying to water the roots of a tree. That once you water the roots of the tree, then automatically the rest, the different parts of the tree will enjoy also. And similarly, Srila Prabhupada explains that if you want to please the different parts, the different limbs of the body, then the best way to do that is to give food to the stomach. Once you give the food to the stomach, then automatically the stomach will make sure that all the different parts of the body also receive their share benefit. And hence Prabhupada emphasized that by worshiping Lord Vishnu or Krishna, then automatically all the other parts of the administrative parts of the Lord, which are the demigods, they also be pacified, they will be satisfied. And Prabhupada explains how it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada goes that a man may sacrifice, O son of Kunti, is really meant for me alone. But it is offered without true understanding. In other words, Krishna is saying that if even you worship the demigods, whatever you offer to them is indirectly meant for me. Because without me, the demigods will not even exist. So the Lord is giving us, is trying to let us understand that under all circumstances, He is the one who is supposed to be worshipped. And the demigods are not the ones to be worshipped. Because Krishna, the same Krishna, tells us in Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, is this something 720 or so? Yeah, let me see if I'm right. Yeah, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 20. Krishna says, Kamasta tai hita gyanaha, prapadyante nyadi vataha, tam tam niyama astaya, prakritya nitaya swaya. Those whose minds are distorted by material desires surrender unto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own natures. In other words, Prabhupada is emphasizing that Krishna himself is saying that those who are usually attracted to material desires, they are the ones who are interested in worshiping the demigods. But the amazing thing is, Prabhupada in his purport was also explaining that if even you are attracted by material desires, then why don't you go to the source of the power? And the source of the power is Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So let's say you are even interested in achieving material goals. Prabhupada is saying, then the best way to do it is not to approach the demigods, but to approach the Supreme Lord. Because in Bhagavad Gita, like the text we just read, Bhagavad Gita chapter 7, verse 20, Krishna is emphasizing that if those who are materially inclined, who are so desirous of material achievements, they worship the demigods. And so if we go further, it says, by worshiping the demigods, they will benedict you, but the benediction they give you is temporary. But those who worship me, if I benedict you as the Supreme Lord, then the benediction I give you is permanent. So why would you want to go and get a benediction that is temporary? And we can see in the life of Hiranyakashipu, even though he got this powerful benediction from Lord Brahma, eventually what happened? He was still vanquished by Lord Vishnu. So if you desire so much material, if you are so much inclined to material consciousness, and you approach the demigods, and they give you everything, they give you opulence, they give you beautiful body, they give you strength, whatever they give you is also temporary. It will come to an end. Because the best way to do everything is always go to the source. And once you go to the source, then you will be truly benedicted. And if we are not properly situated in spiritual consciousness, that is where most of the time we distort our priorities. Because when we become so, then we begin to see the difference in good and bad, honor and dishonor. But if we get everything emanating from the Lord, then we must approach the Lord for everything that we know we want. Once we know that because Krishna himself is telling us over and over again that everyone in this world follows my path in all respects. Everyone follows my path in all respects. And all of them, as they surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. So if Krishna is telling us we all following his surrender, we reward us accordingly, then we must learn our lesson and at least approach him. If we serve Krishna 1%, the results he gives us is permanent. If even we never get qualified to go back to God, the results Krishna gave us, we will come and continue from where we left off. Whereas if we approach the demigods, then whatever benediction we are given, we lose it. If we don't qualify to go back home and we come back, we will not continue from anywhere. We will lose it completely because the benediction they gave us was very temporary, whereas it's permanent. So like I was saying, that everything, once we come to understand that everything is emanating from the Lord, we will know how to the right steps towards the Lord. It's like in everyday life, a lot of different religious groups like the Christians and Muslims and everything. A lot of people on that part are thinking that there is an opposing personality. There is somebody who is challenging the authority of God. That there is the devil who is so powerful that he is challenging the authority of God. But we have been told by Bhagavad Gita that Krishna is saying that not even a blade of grass can shake, can move without my sanction. That means this tells us that without Krishna, nothing can happen. And if that is the case, then why are we thinking that there is a force, there is another force that is opposing the will of the Lord? And so we take a clue from a biblical text in the book of Samuel, 1 Samuel chapter 30, chapter 16. 1 Samuel chapter 16 from verse 14 to 23. He says, when Saul became disobedient to God, an evil spirit from God came to Saul and disturbed him. He didn't say an evil spirit from Satan. He said an evil spirit from God came to disturb Saul. Why is it that an evil spirit came from God? Because this person became disobedient. But Krishna says, as you surrender unto me, I reward you. Like the regular examples that I give. That reward you accordingly as you surrender unto me. So if you desire to do the wrong thing and the reaction to the wrong thing is coming, then the Lord himself will make sure that the reaction comes. He doesn't take it away. And so the issue of Saul, because Saul became disobedient, then this evil spirit from the Lord came to torment him. But one thing with the Lord is that anything that comes from the Lord is always a benediction in disguise. And so if you read this quotation that I gave, 1 Samuel chapter 16, from verse 14 to 23, he says that, and anytime the evil spirit comes to torment Saul, when they call, that's when Saul called David to come and sing to him. When David comes and he starts singing the praises of the Lord, see, once he chants the praises of the Lord, the evil spirit goes away. This should tell us that the calling on the names of God is so powerful. It has been powerful since time immemorial. It's powerful today, and it will continue to be powerful in the future. Because if even negative vibes come into our existence and we call on the names of God, it what? It blocks it, the evil energy. So he says, anytime the evil spirit comes to disturb Saul, and if they sing, if the son of Jesse, David, sings the glories of the Lord, then the evil spirit will depart. So this is how powerful chanting of the holy names is. That constantly chanting on the names of the Lord and hold all vibrations at bay. And we will have what we call it, serene mind to be able to devote ourselves to the Lord. So under all circumstances, we should be interested in what? In trying to approach the Lord in a very, what do we call it? Humble way. Because at the end of the day, whatever benediction the Lord gives us will be permanent in our existence. And whether in this life or in the next life, we will continue from where we left off. That is the special nature of worshiping the Lord. But if we want to worship the demigods and get benediction from the demigods, then always we will become, because this chapter that we are reading, chapter 7, Canto 7, we read from previous verses how the demigods approach Lord Brahma to tell him that there is a rumor going on that Hiranyakashipu wants to take your position. That is what the previous text, some of the previous text tells us, that the demigods approached Lord Brahma and told him that, Lord Brahma, the Supreme Brahma, we've been hearing some rumors that Hiranyakashipu wants to take your position. But if he takes your position, then we are doomed because that person is. So anybody who approaches the demigods for benediction, what happens is that when material desire becomes so tight in your heart, once you are benedicted with one, then you want to go higher. You want to have more. And once you are benedicted with more, you want to have more. And that explains the story, the common stories that we've been hearing about the mouse who approached his guru and told the Guru Maharaj, you see, I think me Guru Maharaj, because the cats are disturbing me so much. Everywhere I turn around in the room, the cats are there and they are disturbing me so much. And the Guru said, so what do you want? He said, I want to be a cat. And the Guru said, so be it, become a cat. And then the next moment, after a while, the cat came back to the Guru. He said, Guru Maharaj, oh, I think the cat is not helping me. Being a cat that is not helping me because the dogs are disturbing me so much. Everywhere I go, the dogs are after me. So the Guru said, what do you want? He said, I want to be a dog. The Guru said, okay, let it be, become a dog. He became a dog. And then after a while, he came, Guru Maharaj, oh, the dog body is not also are disturbing me so much. And Guru Maharaj said, what do you want? A lion. Okay, so you're a lion. And immediately he became a lion. No, somebody has a demonic mentality. Immediately he became a lion. Now he started thinking that now I'm so powerful. So now he goes to the Guru and start that is what happens. And we approach them because for benediction. We will keep asking benediction, and go on, and we become so puffed up that we may come to the level of trying to think that we are the demigod ourselves. And what will happen to us? We will become a mouse again. We will be turned back into a mouse. That is the nature of material consciousness. If you don't get rid of it, you will eventually become a mouse again and forth in this world, which is not what the soul wants to have. I think if there are any questions or comments, powerful devotees here, we can try to address the issue. So if there are any questions, you might raise your hand or you can show the hand raised with the emoji and ask your question. Hare Krishna. So we should do our best, like the text is saying that whatever you are also, if even you are Krishna and not the demigods, because if Krishna benedicts you with something, it's permanent. And we can see in the life of Dhruva Maharaj, even Dhruva Maharaj, he was desiring some material kingdom, a kingdom more powerful than Lord Brahma's kingdom. And eventually, because he approached the Lord, what happened? When even at a certain point in time, he said he didn't want anything, what happened? The Lord still gave him a kingdom that was more powerful than Lord Brahma's kingdom. And that kingdom is permanent. So we realize that if even we entertain some material desires and we approach the Lord, then the Lord, when he gives us the benediction, then that benediction becomes, what do we call it? Permanent. Because Krishna is always desirous of what? Helping his devotees, his worshippers. to gradually get upliftment, gradually. If not straight off, back home, back to God. But any little effort you put in worshiping Krishna, then Krishna will make sure that you get gradual upliftment until you eventually come back home, back to God. And that is why it's very. Are there any questions? Sometimes that when the people, because I'm not very good with this technology thing here, sometimes people raise their hand and I don't even see. So if you see anybody's hands up, please notify me so that we can call on the person to unmute and ask the question. Hare Krishna. Do I still continue since I'm not seeing any questions coming?
Hare Krishna, good morning. Hari Chakra.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for your class this morning. I was thinking, really contemplating what you were saying, and especially when you gave the example of the spirits in the Bible coming from God because of the desires of the heart of the person, not because God is trying to punish, but he's actually reciprocating with what the person is looking for in the first place. And then I'm thinking with Hiranyakashipu, every story, everything that we learn in Sastra can teach us what to do, what not to do. And how does Hiranyakashipu serve this purpose? Because, of course, he couldn't even be who and what he was. Like you said, every blade of grass. So Krishna has to know what's in this demon's heart and what's, he always knows everything. So how do we learn from Hiranyakashipu? What is he, in his serving the Lord, even in the way he's thinking he's only serving himself? What are we learning here?
Thank you very much for the question. It's such an important question because the lesson that we learn from them, if we don't approach the Lord and you know of torture and killing, so the life of Hiranyakashipu and his son Prahlad, you can see Prahlad was only 5 years old. Hiranyakashipu had performed austerities for all these years. It is said that he performed the austerities for 100 celestial years, right? The 100 celestial years, if you bring it to our time, it is said that every one day of the demigod, of the devas, is 6 months of our time, right? So one day of the demigods is 6 months of our time. So if you multiply, how is it that? Because one day is equal to 6 months is 180 days, right? 6 months is 180 days. So one of one of their days is 180 days of our days. So their month, one month of the devas will be 30 times 180 of our days, right? And that multiplied by what do we call 12 will be their 1 year. And that multiplied by 100 will be the 100 years that Hiranyakashipu performed the austerities. So you can understand, so many years he performed austerities, wasted all these years performing that great tapasya to the extent that all this, his body was even eaten by and he was just maintaining his life air in his bones. But after all these austerities, what happened? The benedictions he got. He thought he was immortal. No animal can kill me. No human can kill me. I cannot be killed in the sky. I cannot be killed on the land. I cannot be killed inside the room. I cannot be killed outside of the room. So all these things he thought, oh, now I'm immortal. But what happened? When the Lord decided to kill him, the Lord was able to fulfill all the benedictions that Brahma gave him and at the same time kill him. So if Krishna wants to kill you, nobody can defend you. And that is why in Romans chapter 8, verse 31, he says, if God be for us, who can be against us? If God be for us, who can be against us? And once you approach God, the lesson that we should learn from Hiranyakashipu's life is that if we become so materially conscious and approach demigods, then whatever we gain by the benedictions of the demigods, it will eventually come to an end. So what is the point? And we should also learn that even though Hiranyakashipu got all these benedictions, who was the person who was able to fulfill the benediction and at the same time kill him? Is the Supreme Lord. So if that is the case, why don't we go to that Supreme Lord who can even fulfill all different benediction and at the same time be able to eliminate everything? So the lesson here is for us to understand that approaching the Lord is the best thing to do in our existence. We go to God for everything. If even we have material desires, we have to go to the Lord for it. Because if the Lord benedicts us something from there, that benediction becomes permanent. It will never be temporal. And that's why Krishna emphasized that we always approach him for everything that we need. We should approach him. And that's why Srila Prabhupada has taught us that everything you do it as an offering to the Lord. Before you eat, before you sleep, before you drink, anything that you do, you must do it as an offering to the Lord. And in this way, your results will always be permanent. So that is the little I can give about the lesson we have to learn from the life of Hiranyakashipu, that no matter how powerful we become materially, it will come to an end. The result is always temporary. And so we shouldn't be looking for temporal things. We should be looking for what? Permanent things. And the way to get the permanent thing is to approach the Supreme Lord himself. Did that make some sense?
Hare Krishna, yes, thank you.
Yeah. We always must open our heart for the Lord. Because whichever way we go, like the crude example I always give that, excuse me to say, if you want to go to the bathroom to do number 2, no sensible person will struggle to do the number 1, to pee before you do the number 2. Every sensible person will relax and do the, because as long as you are doing the number 2, the number 1 automatically becomes a bonus. It comes automatic. So why are you struggling to do the number 1 being ahead to do the number 2? So similarly, once you approach the Lord, then automatically the number 1, which is the material things, is automatically fulfilled. Because the Lord himself has promised he will carry what we lack and then preserve what we have. So if that is the case, why don't we approach him for everything that we need? If even it's a material desire that we have, material desires are such that it never gets material desires never get exhausted. Once you ask for one thing, the next moment another thing. That is the nature of material desires. Like the example I once gave, that the guy who went to the church to pray, he was praying to the Lord that, oh, please, dear Lord, I'm struggling. I owe somebody $100. And this guy is tormenting me so much, me and my family. We don't have a peace of mind. So the guy was praying and crying. And so after the prayers, he came out of the church. And right at the entrance of the church, there was a guy waiting there. So immediately this guy came out of the church. The guy waiting at the entrance said, hey, look, here is $100. Take it. Go and pay your debt and be happy. He took the $100 and he was so happy. Then he remembered that, oh, when I was inside the church and I was praying, this guy was the person who was sitting behind me. So he might have heard what I said. And he gave me the, oh my God, what sort of nonsense is this? What stupid have I done? I should have said $500. So now he got the $100 all right, but he's not happy. Why? Because he thinks he has done a stupid thing by not saying 500. Because he's thinking that if I had said 500, then this guy might have helped me. And so when I came out, he would have given me 500. And that would have been very good for me. So that is the nature of material desires. It never ends. You say, you pray that you get this thing, and once even you get that thing, you don't get satisfied. Yearn for more. Material desires are always, you always yearn for more, 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 and it never gives you satisfaction. Whereas when you become absorbed in the service of God, you might be a poor person, you might be very poor, like Sudama Vipra. Sudama was so poor, yet he was fully satisfied. He was materially very poor, but he was still satisfied. Because when you do, I mean, think about it in your everyday life. When you good service, ordinary service for the others and not for yourself, see how do you feel? The rest. Any other question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Well, Guru Puja, right?
7:45. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you so much,
Ayush.
Prabhu, for the enlightening class and enlivening class about our real self-interest. So my question relates to approaching the Lord as a practicing devotee in anartha nivritti. The typical prayers that we are praying to ask the Lord to take away, our anarthas, which we can see are a disturbance to our practice of sadhana bhakti. But then again, especially, um, you know, you need those things. So how do you just maintain your faith that, okay, automatically the number one just gets taken care of at every step? Is it that while you're struggling, you don't have something, you should just go on with your service and not like try to endeavor separately, for what you need. So, for example, as a householder, typically there's a need for more money or more time. So is it that you just go on with the same program and expecting a different result?
Sri Shupanisha, 18, says, Agni Naya Supate Raina Ashma, Vishwani Diva Bayunani Vidvan, Yoyodi asma juranam, wish tampe na ma optim vidama. Which as, oh Lord, as powerful as fire, oh omnipotent one, all obeisances falling on the ground at your feet. Oh Lord, please lead me on the right path to reach you. And since you know all that I've done in the past, please free me from all the reactions to my past deeds so that there will be no hindrance to my progress. This is the meaning of that prayer. So you are praying to God, but the first thing you are asking God is that please lead reach you. And since you know all that I've done in the past, free me from the reactions to my past deeds so that there will be no hindrance. So if you are praying like this, and this is contained in the Maha Mantra. This prayer I'm talking is embodied in the Maha Mantra. And so if you are praying like this to the Lord, and Krishna knows that you need money to sustain yourself, you think Krishna will not give you? And that is why the reason why I was quoting Matthew chapter 6 from verse 25 to verse 31. Jesus was also preaching to his disciples and he was telling them, if you are asking something from God, don't ask for what you eat. It has no value. Does that mean we don't have to eat? But he says, don't ask for what you eat. It has no value because the birds of the air, they don't toil, but every day God feeds them. How much more you who have decided to serve him? You think he will not feed you? He went further to say that if you are praying, don't ask for what you wear, the clothes that you wear. It has no value. And he goes that, look at the lilies of the water. They don't have any farms, but the clothes that God has given them, even Solomon in all his glories, never got any clothes as beautiful as that of the lilies. And so the verse 31, he says, so if you are praying, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his glories, and all other things he shall automatically add unto you. So it's not a matter of we don't need it. We need everything that we have to use in this world because we have material bodies. We need this to sustain this material body. But we should leave the, what do we call it? The decision to the Lord. The last time I was preaching and I was saying, what about you need a car to do Sankirtan. And so you are praying to the Lord and you are praying that, oh, please help me so that I can get a BMW. But meanwhile, in your karma, it is written in your karma that you will have an accident with a BMW and die. But now you are praying to God, Krishna, please help me get the BMW. What does that mean? It means you are praying to Krishna that, Krishna, I want to die, kill me. Because that is going to kill you. And now you are praying to Krishna for BMW. Is it not the same as pray to Krishna? What is necessary for me to. So Krishna knows that so Krishna will not give you BMW. Maybe he will give you a motorcycle, or maybe he will give you what do we call it? Some car that is almost like the car that Truba used to ride here in the farm. And he calls it BMW. Maybe Krishna gives you a car like that. But that car will sustain you. That car will make sure that Krishna will make sure that that car helps you do the right Sankirtan, get the right money, get whatever you need to sustain your body. Krishna will never leave you astray. But unfortunately, our faith is so little that we most of the time we doubt Krishna. That is what it is. But you need these things. I'm not saying if anybody tells you that you don't need money, you don't need anything, you need them. But when you are praying to Krishna, leave the decision for Krishna to make. Just pray to the Lord, please clear all impediments so that I can serve you better. And as long as you are praying like this, and if Krishna knows that financial situation is what is the impediment in your life, Krishna himself, in his own causeless mercy, will clear that financial impediment for you, make your head. Do I make some sense?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So pray to Krishna, but always say that, please, I know that I've done some bad things in my life, in my previous life, even in this calendar, I've done so much bad things. Please clear my way for me. All that I've done in the past, please clear the way for me so that I can dedicate myself to you. This is the way to approach the Lord. And so every karmic reaction that you're supposed to experience that is going to hinder your progress, Krishna will make sure he will clear it for you. But be rest assured that if even he let that an impediment come your way, that impediment is for your own good. He wants you to jump over a hurdle. And so in Surah 2, verse 286 in the Quran, he says that God will never give you any trial that is beyond your ability. He said, God will never give you any trial beyond your ability. So whatever comes your way, you should be rest assured that you can overcome it. That is why Krishna has allowed it to come, so that you make a jump towards your devotional life. Krishna never forsakes his devotees. He gives you the strength. If even a trial comes in your life, be rest assured that Krishna has given you the strength. All that is, you have to just realize it, and you can easily overcome the impediment. Don't submit yourself to the impediment. Know in your heart, have the determination that Krishna has already given me the strength that I can overcome this hurdle. Then somehow or the other, Krishna will make sure you overcome that hurdle. It's already 8 o'clock. Pujaris, do we still continue? Does anybody have a question? Any more questions? Until the Pujari says we can't take any more questions. Then I see some messages, but I don't. Okay. Any other question? Then we can bring this class to an end. So, Miss Pujari, you can let us know if it's time for us to round up. Time? Okay. Tantaram Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.